What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back for a few more musings around Leeds United in the precarious position we're in. 3 games left. It's all to play for, all to play for. And we're here after our triumphant 2-1 loss against Man City. Now, I say that as a joke because a lot of people seem to think that I was like delighted with the loss, but there's intangibles and variables as to why I take so many positives from that performance going into our final 3 games. I don't think anyone was ever thinking we was going to beat Man City. Even our own manager pretty much said so. So it was just taking out the positives from that, and that it was another mauling. But there's other details that we'll go into as well. As a start, please like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Big up for all the support, and drop your comments below. Thanks to Karen Curtin for the super thanks on the last video, much appreciated. And Edward Walker, who's a new member of the channel, memberships, man. I'm telling you, we're like the NWO now, like over bloated, but I love it. Thank you for the support. Really appreciate it. And memberships are in the description. What is happening, everyone? Yeah, Bubba, I'm here. I thought I was going to be on tomorrow, but I thought, you know what, let me just go on today and let's just quickly go over a few things of the Man City game, and obviously the thing in the title, Meslier versus Robles, Rodrigo. We'll talk about that in a bit. In terms of the reality, by the way, people, in terms of the reality, I've seen today Plymouth Argyle finish champions of League One. Good for Plymouth. But we are literally 3 bad games away from seeing them home and away next season. It is when you sit down and think, all right, when you sit down and think just the difference between playing Plymouth twice next season or Liverpool twice, it's insane. That's why there is so much riding on these games. And that's why we've made the managerial change when we have. It's things like this. There's a big difference from going to Liverpool and Plymouth. With all due respect to Plymouth, and congratulations to you. And of course, Ipswich. Classic. That was one of the funniest moments, man. Tell you. But yeah, that's reality hit when I saw Plymouth celebrating, man. I'm like, whoa. If we see Plymouth next season, we're going to be like a cup final to them. So we cannot allow this to happen. So Leeds United going forward for the next 3 games, key that we get everything right. Nathan saying, yeah, caught alive, great content, KG. Shout out to you, Nathan. Yeah, we're live and direct right now. 3:30 here in England, wherever it is around the world for you. I hope you're well. So yeah, I mean, yesterday somebody said, actually it was the first comment on the video saying I didn't go through Big Sam's post-game comments, and that's true, I didn't. So I picked out a couple of the key ones that I want to discuss today. Let's have a look. Derek Delboy Moore. All right, Delboy. Morning, KG. Feeling a little more confident today that we can get points from the next 3. I'm in that camp as well, Derek. Not everyone feels the same, so I'm not speaking for everyone here, but I definitely believe that this point's up for grabs, more so than I thought. This time, Monday, when we still had Javi Gracia going into the Man City game, I thought, woof, it doesn't look good for us. As the saying goes, it doesn't look good, brev. It doesn't look good. But there is a renewed hope. However small it is, at least most of us have got a little bit of hope. But yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Richard saying, not seen that Pens jersey for a while. Is it back in the draw for another year? Good to see you on again. I think I wore it a couple streams ago, Richard. But no, it's been tough. I'm not going to lie to you, Richard. Watching the playoffs without the Penguins, even with a first round exit, it's different. It's different, man. I don't like it. It's been 15 years. So whoever the next GM is, they better come in, get some help around Sid and Malkin and Letang, and we go from there and get a better goalie as well, please. And we're going to be talking about goalies today. But yeah, let's go into it. Let's get into it, people. Big Sam yesterday with his comments, very direct, nice to hear. I like how he talks. He's up front with it, and we'll speak about some other things that he said as well. But he praised Robles for his performance yesterday, keeping us in the game. And I just wonder with that as well, because there was also a quote. Let me just get the quote here. He said in regards to Meslier, how he reacted, I didn't expect him to be very happy, which he wasn't. But with what he watched, I think the rest will do him good. Now, for me, that's interesting because I don't know about you, but Big Sam basically alluded to it yesterday that we do have 3 games for him to survive. He was kind of looking at this game as like a very expensive glorified friendly so he could get to know the players a bit more. Obviously, next week he'll have a full week with the players. Um, so he'll know a bit more about them. But I just wonder if he was expecting, obviously, he won't say this out loud because it would just dent the player's confidence. But I wonder if he was expecting us to hold 5 or 6 yesterday and thought, well, Meslier, sit on the bench for this one. You've taken enough shellackings through your time. Stay on the bench for this one, and we'll bring you back in for Newcastle because we'll probably lose 5 or 6 anyway. And Joel, take this one for the teammate, and you back on the bench next week. But I think, man, I don't know, man, and I don't know about you, but I think Robles has got one hell of a case to stay in goal for the remaining 3 games, not just the Newcastle one. I'm serious. I think that he's got a case to start the remaining 3 games. I look at it, somebody just mentioned NHL there. You have your starting goalie who's on a lot of money. Sometimes you have your reserve goalie that's on like 750,000 league minimum. If the starting goalie is going out and he's stinking up the joint game in, game out, and your reserve goalie comes in, you ride the hot hand. And this is what I feel we need to do at this stage. I feel we need to ride the hot hand, ride the hot hand. Nidar here, at least Robles talks vocal yesterday. The only time he wasn't vocal was when he wiped out Rasmus. He took him by surprise, didn't he? Just cleared Rasmus out. But you know what he did in that instance as well? The ball got dropped and he still saved the incoming shot. And that's another thing as well. I felt yesterday, I don't know about you, I'm asking you guys here, but I felt like the team looked more comfortable and confident with Robles behind them in light of Melier's recent performances. Now, listen, Meslier went on this kind of run last season where he was just conceding goal after goal, but we didn't have a Robles. We had Klaassen in reserve, so it was probably the best bet to stick with Meslier. But this season we've got Robles in, and I feel, and I don't know about you, I feel like this could have been prevented. I really do. When Meslier was getting, having to keep picking the ball out the net, I feel like he could have been dropped then. But I said it at the time. I said it at the time. I think we could have done without this. He could have sat out a couple games, realized what was at stake, realized that you're not just going to get your number one jersey, and come out the team for a bit, and it would have probably done him the world of good. I mean, Gail's one of the biggest Meslier fans. She really is. And she's saying you were right about Meslier, KG. And it's nothing to be proud of about being right, honestly, because I wish I was wrong in terms of Meslier, because this is stuff I was saying from near the start of the season, if you remember, and people were pushing back saying, nah, 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 nah. But I remember I was saying about so many games where the first shot was going in, some games where the ball was like going off his wrist, and then it's like, could he have done better? But then it's just come to a nasty head over the past month or so where he's just basically useless. But Meslier being unhappy, some people took issue with that. I'm glad he's unhappy that he's lost his spot. That shows to me that he cares. If you're happy as a number one goalie to go on the bench, I gotta question this up there. I'm glad he's unhappy, but he should have played better as well. And Michael here, yeah, Javi wouldn't have dropped Elan. He said so. He said so. He said he was never considering changing the goalkeeper, which is insane to me. You know, it- that kind of shows a bit of Javi Gracia's limitations as well. But yeah, he should have had a game off also sooner. But now with the remaining 3 games, Newcastle, I look at it from the where I am sitting today, and if I see the team sheet next week and it says Meslier starting, I'm less confident. Does that make sense to people? Yep, Sly Robles strong in the air. I got you. Catches the ball instead of swiping at it. Yeah, but even when he was punching it, Sly, that thing had distance on it. He's a bit of a unit, isn't he? Meslier is a tall guy, but Robles is a tall guy, but he's got a bit of presence to him. You know what I mean? So he was collecting everything. And listen, the reserve goalkeeper, just like with the NHL, they always have less rope to play with. So if he has a bad outing against Newcastle, I fully expect to see Meslier back in goal for the West Ham game. But for me, we got nothing to lose by keeping this guy in goal, in my opinion. Let me say, let's see what you guys are saying. Stephen Tetley say Meslier has cost us points. Bottom line, he saved us points too. I'm not just going to take that away from him. But you're right, Stephen. There's been, how many times have I said, I don't know how long you've been watching me, Stephen, but how many times have I said we've been on top, albeit not scoring, which is a problem. But then the opposition go down the other end and score straight away. You can't do much with that. Uh, okay, Bandy here saying, I love the cut of Sam's jib. However, Meslier is our man, and Sam will have to attack teams for us to save no claims bonus. See, this is what I mean. There is a controversy because some people still believe that Meslier should be starting, and I understand it. He's been our number one for well over 100 Premier League appearances. But for me at this time, I gotta go with Joel, man. I gotta go with Joel. SJ44 saying Meslier parry assist against Bournemouth was poor decision making, catch it or punch it. Yeah, but exactly, SJ. But there's so many more, isn't there? We could talk about the Everton one where Seamus Coleman scores from an angle that you never see players score from because he's way out of his line. I'm not going to put the Wolves one on him. I'll maintain you as a sweeper keeper. You're supposed to come out and defend that. It was Rucker's poor pass that give it back to Johnny. So that's not really on him. See, I'm fair, people. I'm fair. Don't say I'm never not fair. But there have been times where his positioning is questionable. Um, and there, yeah, Arson is saying Meslier saved us points against Liverpool, Newcastle. That's it. Yeah, and that's another thing as well. I mean, a lot of people talking about the luck that we received yesterday with Man City hitting the post so many times and Robles keeping us in the game and things like that, missed penalty. But I felt we was much luckier against Newcastle away this season. If there was a game that we didn't deserve a point from, it was that one. And just because Newcastle didn't have their shooting boots on, we survived and got a point out of it. But I thought we was much luckier in that one. But where we are, we need all the luck we can get because we're not going to get it on ability, are we? Uh, Lewis here saying, if you have a dip in form, you come out the starting 11, regardless of who comes in. Can't keep playing like Ducky and be rewarded with starts. Yeah, Lewis, you know how it is. It doesn't matter where you are on the pitch. I do think there is a little bit of a difference with a goalkeeper, though. There is a slight difference because a goalkeeper can have one outstanding game and then build his confidence from there. They're the last line of defense. A little bit of a difference, but this has been a prolonged period of time. Can't go on. Can't go on. Paul here saying Robles also shouts at defenders and organizes them 100%. That's what I mean. We was getting more, we've been talking about buzzword leadership and everyone else. I always think that people should be leading for themselves and everything else like that. But he was organizing defense yesterday and it was against Man City. That game really should have been, 5-6, whatever. But with his help and luck, we kept it down and made Man City play in the corner for 10 minutes. Not bad, is it? Not bad. Again, I know there's no points for that before people jump on me, but we've got to take these intangibles going forward into the next three games. It's important. Plymouth or Liverpool, people. Plymouth or Liverpool. Uh, and Alfie here saying Robles has to start in the next game after that impressive performance. Yeah. I mean, is there any more in the live chat right now? Is there any more for Meslier to start? Don't be afraid to speak up. You have a voice. And obviously leave it in the comments after the video is done as well. But let me know. Yeah, Jack, we do. We have a lot of quiet guys on the pitch. Yeah, you see that. But another thing as well, another thing that was good to see, even though we conceded those two goals, very identical, by the way, their heads didn't completely drop. When we saw them against Bournemouth, I mean, after that one where Lerma scored the first one, instead of shouting at each other or geeing each other on, their heads all just went down, didn't they? It was like, oh, here we go again. But yesterday, they kind of stuck to the task. Yes, it was disappointing to lose the goals, but their heads didn't completely drop. Again, that's another intangible you can take going forward into games where you're not playing one of the best teams in the world. Let's not forget about Man City. We were balling against De Bruyne yesterday. You know what I mean? De Bruyne, Foden, Mahrez. You're talking about players that we haven't got one on their level. So yeah, there's levels to look at things. And let me get it straight. I want to win again, people, but I'm just very, cognizant of the situation we're in. Uh, yeah, Katrina here as well saying Robles for the last three for me. Yeah. So okay, yeah, okay. And this is a point as well. SJ44, if you bring back Meslier for the next match, the pressure on him would be crippling. That's a great point. And can he stand it? We've seen in the last few games, he hasn't been up to it. Leicester aside, where I thought he was decent, he hasn't been up to it, has he? So, how will he take it? 3 games to go, possibly in the bottom three by then, depending on results on Monday. Is he going to take the pressure against Newcastle? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. Just gonna go on to the next bit now. I don't plan on being long today. I know I say that, but then we're on for an hour. But I don't plan on being too long. But yeah, let's have a look. Oh, just to note as well, Big Sam, something else he said as well, which I thought was pretty cool, in that he wasn't impressed with the penalty given away, and that's something I mentioned yesterday. Again, Pascal is one of my favorites. I thought he was going to be the next big thing, but Big Sam wasn't impressed with that decision. A lot of people calling the decision soft, but it was a penalty. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what people were watching, but it was definitely a penalty. It was rash. It was careless. Almost had that bozo element to it. And Pascal hasn't started off on the right foot there. That's your first contribution when you come on the pitch. You're looking for solidity, and you give away a penalty. I don't think Big Sam will be impressed with that. But I did like how he called that out. And you know what? Something else in regards to why I speak about Pascal so like the way I do is because looking back a couple years ago when he had all that potential, if you remember, there was like four countries vying for his services. He's got a lot of heritage in him, and you're talking about big nations as well. Two of them being Holland and Belgium that wanted him to play for him. And I know he's been capped by, I think he's been capped by Holland since, hasn't he? But it's gone a lot quieter since a couple years ago, hasn't it? And that's just the disappointing thing with Pascal, because I thought his ability was top tier, but got that one wrong. Got it wrong. Nida here saying Strauch is another one who needs to go back to basics under a decent coach. Gail saying Strauch was at it again, only on for a minute. Yeah, yeah. It's disappointing, isn't it? It's disappointing. And Jason here, my sentiments too, Jason. Pascal has not only improved but has regressed over the last two seasons. I can't disagree with that. Can't disagree with that at all. And it's really disappointing. Somebody yesterday left a comment saying he should be loaned out to the Championship or League One. I think League One's a bit harsh, but I'm not against that Championship shout unless he's sold, or unless he's an option on the bench. But as a starter, nah. It's just so funny how you look at things, isn't it? And we're going to speak about somebody who was heavily involved in that season. We finished ninth. But if you remember the last, was it 10 games when we finished ninth? Him and Llorente were forming a really, really nice partnership. They were forming a really nice partnership. And you're thinking, wow, is Strauch and Llorente going to be the future of Leeds United? Well, fast forward 3 years, one's not here and one's regressing. It's funny how football works, isn't it? Funny how football works. Uh, Mark, I now use your term. He's got that bozo in him. Listen, it's not an insult. Honestly, it's not. But a bozo gene is a bozo gene. Listen, some of the best defenders around have got the bozo gene. Gabriel at Arsenal, he's one of the prime ones. He can look solid for like 89 minutes of a game, and then he'll do some kind of breakdance move and concede a penalty. It's the bozo gene. Can't get it out of you. You know what I mean? But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Steph here, Strauch and Meslier confidence in the gutter. They look like broken men. Pair them together, Steph. I'm with you. They've both regressed, and they both look like they could do with a fresh start somewhere else, in my opinion. But yeah, let's see. Let's see. Next one. Next one. Right. Here we go. Talking of the anomaly season with no fans. Bamford. Now, for Bamford, in terms of his play yesterday, even yesterday, I don't know if you watched Match of the Day, but Alan Shearer called it out. So if you're not listening to me, if my word isn't good enough, then Alan Shearer, who knows a thing or two about scoring goals and being the number 9, can tell you about it. And they highlighted Bamford's game yesterday where he just relieved zero pressure for Leeds United every time we got the ball up. It's obvious we were going to play a low block yesterday. We're going to sit back deep, hope that the striker can hold it up, and then let our wingers run on and try and get around Man City that way. That was the only way it was going to happen. And the ball just kept bouncing off him, couldn't control it. He gave away a simple one where he handballed it when it was easier to chest the thing. This is the problem. And I hope with Big Sam, he sees that and he sees what Rodrigo did, and Rodrigo gets to start. It's important for me in the next 3 games, especially against the teams like Newcastle, West Ham, and Spurs, where you can get around them a bit more. You're not going to be reliant on the other team having so much possession. I think yesterday's possession, by the way, was something like 81% to Man City, 19 to Leeds. You know, I don't think we're going to see that in the next 3 games. But with that, I think there's more scope for Rodrigo to get around a Share or a Butman, even though they're real solid defenders, but they've barely got any pace. I think we need to use Rodrigo and utilize him. And you saw the instinctive finish. And that's something that Big Sam praised as well. The quality of Rodrigo's strike. For me, he's got to look at him like his Defoe, his new Defoe. Keep him as your striker, man. Because the Bamford thing, it ain't working. And you know, for Bamford fans, there's so many of you out there, and that's cool. But the thing is, he's not scoring goals for you. And you can't even go with the argument that he's good at hold up play anymore. The last game he was good at the hold up play, and he was terrific in that game. By the way, was Man United away. That was the perfect kind of Bamford performance you could have got. He was brilliant in that game, but that's one game out of how many? You know, Rodrigo goes out with an injury. He doesn't make that shirt his own. He hasn't scored enough goals, people. And if he's not holding up the ball, what's the point? That's all I'm asking. What's the point? He looks like he runs in treacle. I don't see the plus points. Rodrigo, 12 goals in the Premier League this season. I know it was a while since his last one due to form, injuries, what have you, and selection. Play Rodrigo, please. He will give us the best chance of surviving. Let me know what you think in the chat now, and obviously in the comments below as well. Is that true, Carl? 4 goals in 26 appearances. I don't know. You know what? I should have looked, but I haven't looked at that. Just here saying, I agree with you, KG. I would start Rodrigo. But listen, if there is any Bamford fans in here, just let me know as well. I will flag those up as well. Jim here saying Bamford doesn't score and doesn't create enough. Not what we need from a striker. He's not. He's not. And it's just a shame that the pandemic had happened when it did, because I think he'd be back in the championship right now. No, actually, probably not, because these guys don't want to sell anyone that got us promoted, so maybe not. But yeah, he's just not. He's just not a Premier League player. Deshaun saying Rodrigo for me. I'm with you. Laurent saying, I hope I said that right, Laurent. If Big Sam aims to use Rodrigo as from the 60th, better start Rutter instead of Bamford. Yeah, I mean, again, let's see what Rutter can do. He's a wild card right now. We don't know what he can do from the start, really and truly, in the Premier League. So if you're gonna waste that spot on Bamford, like I said yesterday, and he's a hologram. He is. He's literally like playing with 10 men, because he doesn't do nothing. Stu Nick saying, why not play both? Because no one seems to want to do that right now, Stu. I mean, I would probably go with that, but then if you're gonna give me 2 strikers, like Laurent said, I'd probably go with Rutter in behind and Rodrigo as the number 9. That's what I would do. And even on a much lesser scale, get Perkins on the bench. He's somebody that kind of has the mold of Bamford, but he's way, way more mobile. I mean, it's not hard though, is it? So yeah, I know it sounds like it's Bamford bashing, but it's just calling it how it is. And when you've got a legendary striker like Alan Shearer calling it out too, when those guys usually try and stick by English strikers, especially, it kind of tells you a story, doesn't it? Uh, and yeah, Danny, yeah, he's not a striker, he's a wing, and that's why I'm saying play off him, because he doesn't play directly up front. But if you've got him floating behind, he gives you a bit more movement, it gives you a bit more agility up there as well. So it could be an option, but I don't think he's going to be used in the remaining 3 games from the start. I just don't see it if he hasn't been used up to this point. Billow, Kevin Davis burst over Bamford. That's not even close. Kevin Davis wasn't anywhere near prolific, but boy, oh boy, did you know he was in the game. You knew Kevin Davis was in the game. Um, it's Geronimo here, just making. I think he's making a joke, but actually, I do want to ask this. Can't see why Harrison didn't get in the City team. I mean, come on now. But yeah, is there anyone that would say about starting Somerville with Nonto instead of the Nonto and Harrison, or keep it the way it is for the Newcastle game? Very interested in that, because I've always liked the night, that 3: Rodrigo, Somerville, Nonto. We haven't seen it in so long, and it was what was working for us before the last international tournament. But yeah. Sanatha, I always get this wrong. Sorry, man. Nobody man Mark Gundogan for the 2 goals. Yeah, it wasn't good. There was no closing down from any of the midfield or defense. Free goals, wasn't it? You know, McKennie didn't close down, Forshaw didn't close down, nobody did. Rocker didn't close down. But listen, is what it is, man. Is what it is. It's gone. Ted here saying, since the foot injury, Bamford looks like he belongs in an old time. I didn't see that bit. In an old timers game, slow, off balance, and no physicality. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Uh, that's- God. Stephen was saying Nanto was dire yesterday. Yeah, I mean, he was. I mean, again, we're talking about Man City here, and I saw Nanto more at right back than I did at right wing. So it's a case of seeing what he can do in Newcastle. But Big Sam, I think, will stick by him because he's always said, even before he got the Leeds job, that how is Nanto not playing in this team? So, and I thought he was very unlucky to get a yellow card for slipping over, by the way. Ugh, terrible yellow card to get, but hey. Yeah, but I think Nanto will come. I think he'll come good in the Newcastle game. Give him another game. It's Geronimo follows on saying Harrison has 4 good games a season. That's simply not good enough. Yeah, and we'll talk about that at the end of the season. Talk about that at the end of the season. But yeah, I just wanted to get my point across that for me, in terms of surviving, in my opinion anyway, Rodrigo is key. Got to keep him up front. Give us a bit more movement and give us a killer instinct up front. Who knew Rodrigo had it? But this season, he's got it. So utilize it. We're not blessed with goals. Keep him in there as long as he's fit. But yeah, you know what, guys? I think that's it. I've done it again in under half an hour. Pat on the back to me. There we go. Is there anything else that anyone wants to say before we get out of here? Mark here, and Mark, I apologize for previously calling you Mark Hunter the whole time. I didn't, when you just see things, and I've assumed your name was Hunter, and it's actually Harter. My bad, my bad. Is it just me, or is Verba the only good defender we have had since Tyler Adams is out? Yeah, Verba is the only one that is. I mean, again, you know what? Give a shout out to Verba yesterday as well. He was also leading from the back as well, getting involved in the blocks, getting interceptions, and he was good yesterday. Max Verba. I should have given him a shout out earlier. So thank you for the reminder, Mark. But yeah, he's the only one where I look at in the summer and think, you know what, keep him. But yeah, that's the only one. Lewis, I'm not going on that. Sorry, I'm not doing it. Lewis here is saying his comments on Forshaw. Yeah, I mean, he said Forshaw, as a 3. Yeah, I mean, whatever, man. What can you do? I mean, I'd prefer Sam Greenwood in there, but me saying that Sam Greenwood over Forshaw kind of tells you the state of the midfielding. But that's where we are. That's where we are. Until Forshaw does something outstanding for me, I'm not going to mention it because it's just pointless. It's just pointless. He's another body in there. There's a warm body in there. But I was saying to somebody yesterday, yeah, there's another body in there, but we could easily get someone from League Two and put them in there. Doesn't mean that they should be there, does it? But hey, is what it is, man. Uh, yeah, Stephen. Again, see, Forshaw. His name doesn't even get spelled correctly. That's how insignificant he is. Forshaw runs around like a blue bottom fly. Yeah. SJ44, yeah, with Big Sam's tactics, then Greenwood could be in a shout for dead ball situation. Well, we saw what he said with Mark Rucker, didn't he? We saw what he said to him when he just absolutely wasted that free kick, called it a ducking waste, right? I mean, you can replace the D with an F. So maybe that will be something he'll look at this week, and maybe he'll see maybe Greenwood's a better fit in the midfield than somebody else. We'll see. Like people say, Forshaw gives you energy in midfield. Cool. Maybe he'll go with Greenwood for a set piece that we will need to do against Newcastle. We'll need to get them right against Newcastle for sure. 100%. Yeah, Lewis, a ducking waste. And yeah, Jason, the fact that no one can agree on our best 11 shows how bang average our squad is, sadly. 100% Jason. And this is why I don't want to do this again next year. I'm not with the people that say go down and rebuild. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. But get the recruitment right in the summer. Start with the defense. goalkeeper if needs be. This this doesn't work for me. I don't like doing this. I don't like thinking about relegation. It's on my mind most of the time as well, by the way. Just thinking, damn, we need to stay in this league. We have to. We have to. Otherwise, it's Ipswich again next year. I don't want that. Do you want that, people? I don't think you want that. I don't think you do. So, yeah, it's important that we stay up and then just gut the team out. Say goodbye to a lot of the players, even new ones that haven't worked out. Do like other teams do. If a signing doesn't work, they rectify it. But we just seem to sit on our hands sometimes, and it's not good enough. That's not what you get in the Premier League. You got to be proactive, not reactive. And sometimes we're not even reactive, which is even worse. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, Jason. That's why I don't really want to talk about it in terms of this 2023 and Forshaw still an option. It's disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. Saw some League One footballers that are better than him, and I'm not being horrible. It's true. It's actually true. Um, Danny here. Welcome to Plymouth next season. Tremendous. But yeah, I know Amy, I said it last year, but I'm not in charge of recruitment, am I? I don't do that. The guy that's in charge, he's gone now. So it's gonna be a different strategy, different, you know, different, hopefully talent ID this summer. It's important that we get that done. It's important that that happens. We can't keep on recruiting the way that we have. You know what I mean? We've got to get better defenders in for a start. That if we start with a whole new back four next season, I'd be happy. I'd be more than happy with that. Um, let's have a look. All right, guys. You know what I'm going to do? I thought I'd keep it under half an hour, and I've failed on that one. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for joining me though on this. It's quite an impromptu stream because I was planning on coming on tomorrow, but I've got it done today. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for watching replay. If you have, hit the likes, drop your comments below, give me your thoughts on anything discussed today or your general feelings, and I'll see you in the next one. People, subscribe to the channel too. Peace out.